Welcome back. Now, the cost of repairs to the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital in Johannesburg is now estimated at 1.1 billion rand. Initially, the cost was estimated to be 1.7 billion, and the hospital was ravaged by fire last April. Health Portfolio Committee Chairperson Dr. Rebecca Digamela says that the committee is satisfied and believes that progress was made to repair the hospital and ensure it is fully operational by next year. So for more, we are joined by Ayanda Dakela, who is Chief Director for Health Infrastructure at the National Health Department. Mr. Dakela, thanks so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Sakina, and good morning to your viewers.
So we've heard a few different amounts when it comes to the estimated cost of repair to the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital. So which is the correct amount? How much is the estimated cost of repair to the hospital?
Originally, the project was handled by the Department of Infrastructure Development, and during that time, they did their costing, and their costing was about 1.4 billion, according to their books, and because of the slow progress, the project then was transferred to the National Department of Health. That was done at the late January 2022. And then after we have taken over the project, we then reassessed the project, and we have identified that the project is not supposed to be costing 1.4 billion. So it's supposed to be costing about just over 1 billion rand. And basically that was the amount that we have quantified from the work that is required. And if one looks at what was quantified by the Department of Infrastructure, that work alone, if I were to compare apples with apples, that work alone was from the National Department of Health. We picked up that it was supposed to cost us about 728. But we have covered other items that are required. But to answer you, Sakina, the current amount now that we have quantified as an estimate is 1.1 billion.
And Mr. Dakela, which sections of the hospital are currently operational and which are not?
The hospital is I would say is almost about 80% operational. Recently we had to reopen the emergency unit, the A&E unit. Now is fully operational. There was a CT scan that was vandalized. It was fully operational during the week. Siemens has kind of like fixed it and is now working fully operationally. So the emergency unit now is now taking patients for casualty.
So, Mr. Dakela, when you say that a CT scanner was vandalized, what do you mean by that? So are you saying this was not as a result of the fire, but of other activity?
It was for other activities, Sakina. There were about 3 officials that were arrested from the Department of Infrastructure. There was a case that was opened at Hillbrow Police Station. And there were few vandalism that happened, but those are dealt with, and there was a case that was opened.
So regarding the turnaround time, because this hospital, of course, very pivotal in the provision of healthcare in the province, not only about the numbers that it sees and takes care of on a daily basis, but we've also heard from other hospitals in surrounding areas buckling under the strain of having to deal with the load from Charlotte Maxeke. So what is the turnaround time for the hospital to be fully operational?
The turnaround time for the hospital We are hoping that by end, which is December 2023, we'll complete the work that is required for the hospital. But there are other developments that we are busy putting in place as the National Department of Health. We are busy doing the final consultation about those. We are trying to make sure that there is decanting spaces that are going to be located outside the hospital. And we had some negotiations with the private sector. So we are finalizing all those so that we can also relieve pressure in other hospitals. So that's the plan, because if we are working on site, that means then within the decanting program, we'll be limiting spaces within the hospital and then adding more pressure on other institutions around Charlotte. So we are busy now getting spaces outside the hospital, but that is going to be communicated during at the beginning of June. It's going to be on the news soon, but but at the right time we will communicate those interventions.
And just by way of timeframes, is there an actual date by which you expect all of these repairs to have been completed in 2023?
The repairs, all the repairs will be completed in December 2023. But with these interventions that are coming in place, it will assist us to speed up the work and bring that time forward, and then also create parking spaces for the staff. And also, Sakina engineers, they work like lawyers. The longer they take to do the work, the more they get paid. So the plan is now to reduce timelines. If we reduce timelines, we'll also make some saving on the 1 billion that I've just mentioned earlier.
And whose responsibility is it to actually keep oversight over that, the timelines and also the expenditure of funds on this project?
It's me, Sakina. I've kind of like put myself, my neck on the block on this one. And I'm making sure that also at the same time, exposing those that are corrupt within the same space that I'm in. And I'm trying to show also that we can do this type of projects within budget and also within timelines.
And it certainly is commendable, especially when you think of the estimated 1.7 billion that was spoken about, and bringing that down to 1.1 billion by looking at other estimates.
And also I must indicate that the timeline that was given there was the January 2027.
Wow. So it really is refreshing that someone is putting their head on the block and saying, I will be personally accountable for this. But what lessons, finally, has the National Health Department learned from the 2021 fire tragedy, Mr. Dakela?
It is so unfortunate, Sakina. We were supposed to, as I'm including myself, because the Department of Infrastructure is also part of government. We're supposed to kind of like to put priority on this item from day one, and we have failed to do that. I'm only now doing the detailed assessment of the area that was affected by the fire. Also, we don't even know what was the cause of the fire. So all these type of things needs to change.
But why? Why? What was wrong? What was preventing you from doing that? Because evidently you know that is how it was supposed to be done. You understand what needs to be done and how and when. So why wasn't it done?
That's where now I can't answer that question, because this item was sitting with a different department. And that was the reason why this item was then taken away from that department and handed over to the National Department, so that we can give this facility a priority that it deserves. And that's the unfortunate part. So, but going forward, we need to make sure that we prioritize these emergencies. And there's KZN flooding that needs to be prioritized. So I'm also putting more effort in making sure that the facilities that are affected by flooding in KZN are also prioritized. So we need to make a statement when it comes to handling emergency situations.
We certainly do. But thanks so much, Mr. Dakela. And of course, we will follow up with you. As you said, you are now the person who will be accountable for this particular project going forward, and we'll certainly check in with you. Ayanda Dakela is the Chief Director for Health Infrastructure at the National Health Department. And very interesting, some of the revelations there. The estimated cost at first around 1.7 billion, and then an estimate was done by the private sector saying it should cost just over $1 billion, and now it's down to 1.1 billion. And Mr. Dakela conceding that things perhaps were not done as they should have been, priority made of things that should have been. And this was a project that was meant for completion in 2027, and it will now be completed in December 2023.